Hey folks, welcome back to the Pulse. My name is Matt. This is Crypto Heartbeat, and it's 1:46 Central Texas time. I hope you're doing well. I'm in a rare mood today, and this may end up in an epic rant. But I'm fed up. I'm fed up, folks, and I want to share that with all of you. And also, I want to share with you the truth about PulseChain. There's some really important things you need to know. Tomorrow, I'll be going to Consensus 2023 with a group of Pulsicans, Hexicans, Texans, all those folks led by Gary from Funding Gym. Westcott Crypto will be there. That's going to be cool. Walrus will be there. Bobby from Pulse News, I believe. Hope I didn't get that wrong. If you caught the stream on Gary's channel yesterday, we talked about going there. I mean, there's going to be like 5,000 people there, everybody in crypto flying in. It's going to be pretty cool. So I'll give you updates from there, probably stream from there tomorrow and Thursday. But that's big news. And just hoping and praying for great relationships and connections. And maybe we'll get some photos with some folks. That'll be very, very cool. But I want to bring you along for that. But today I wanted to talk about the truth about PulseChain. And I'm going to say hello to you. Then we'll get into the content because I got a lot to say today. And I'm going to make this as clear as I possibly can. And we're going to hear from Richard Hart. That's a good thing, isn't it? Hearing from Richard Hart. Can't go wrong with that. Godfather J6. What's up, number one? Hope everyone's well. Taryn, hey, no problem. Watch it on the replay. Vinny3, hello, everybody. Let's get that Texan upvoted. Yeah, Astro Spaces, absolutely. Rafun LLC. What is the Pulse that you speak of? Did anyone else notice that the PulseChain website during testnet V3 has said this is the last testnet? Looks like testnet V4 really, yep. Hope V5 is good. Well, there's pretty good indication that there's not going to be a V5. The only thing I think that we're in the middle of right now is understanding the nature of the Shanghai upgrade. So obviously, Shanghai upgrade enabled validators to get their Ethereum out. Okay, that was an upgrade that happened recently with Ethereum. That has not been incorporated into V4, but it looks like it can be incorporated into V4 before things go. Before things go live. So that's something that has to happen. The question is, how long does that take? I do not know, right? 2 more weeks? I don't know, whatever it may mean, but that is something that needs to be considered. So, I've been thinking, hey, this may be the last tweet we see from Richard Hart before mainnet, but also if that is a consideration, we have a little bit more time, but I don't know that for sure. I'm just saying this is what I'm reading out there. And so the tea leaves I'm about as good as reading them as you are. So that's what's going on. But Rafun LLC, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hopefully there's not a V5, but hey, we'll get it ready. I'm going to be talking to you today about PulseChain and why, what you should be understanding about it. Like, this is not a hobby, folks. This isn't, and that's part of my rant. So I'm going to get geared up for that one. So get ready to clip things out. Crypto Compassion, good day to everyone. Robert Keller, hello, fam. Nate Mintz in the house. He's still Nate Stakes to me. Gunnerboat 37. DJ Dougie Peach, he's still the peach to me. Francis Powell, hello all. And Katie, I'm looking forward to seeing you, my friend. Hexy Quinn in the house. Always wonderful to have you here. Oh, I'm getting the buzz going on here. I need to shut that off, folks. It is annoying. All right, let's go here. Hex Honcho, good to see you. Jokey Clokey, fantastic. BC, Be Crypt, that's it. Be Crypt. Cheers, Daniel Vogel. I'm in a rant mode also. This should be good. Yeah, I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna let everyone have it. Understanding that you're the choir and I'm preaching to the choir. Rich Liberations, what's going on with the Texan? Element Hacks, always love your streams, brother. Thanks for being here. Evo, the truth. You can't handle the truth. You come in here with your bleep white outfit and your Harvard mouth. Oh my goodness. Few Good Men's great movie. Paul Op 7th, good to see you. Anders, howdy y'all. Hexy Malista, what's going on? Texan OG Day 1, what is up? Good afternoon, Matt. Waiting for the Richard Hart PulseChain has gone live tweet. Yeah, hopefully that comes soon. And Extravagant Taste, the truth will set us free. Bring it on. And KD, what is going on? 57 people here. Thanks for joining. Let's get into the rant. Let's get into it. I got a lot of stuff for you today. But I want you to hear first from Richard Hart himself. And so let's take a look. I've got this sped up a little bit because Richard pauses quite a bit. So if you hear him talking a little bit faster, that's why. It's on 1.5 to get through some of this content. But I wanted you to hear this. This was at the PulseCon, and I want you to listen to him. I'll jump around a couple different points, but hopefully we'll get the gist of this here. Okay, let's make sure we got that there. All right, listen to this.
So I wanted to ask you a couple questions. I've been talking to folks throughout the conference. One of the things that we see right now in the world is that our freedoms are under attack. You talk about freedom of speech, you talk about freedom of movement. You seem to be very attuned to what's going on politically in the world, geopolitically. One of the things that I always get excited about when I listen to you is to hear your vision for a vertically aligned ecosystem. Do you mind sharing that with us to tell us really, is this potentially going to be a sovereign alternative to the CBDCs? Is this ecosystem potentially going to be the place of freedom and sovereignty?
It's possible. It takes effort and it takes time. So I'll give you an example. When did email basically kill normal mail? It took a long time. And when did the digital camera kill the analog camera? It took a while. When did MP3s kill CDs? That was probably pretty quick, but maybe it was still 10 years. We are very close in that the technology's gotten better and better and better. When I first got into crypto, if you sent over 100 sends, it invalidated all your backups because your backups would only cover the first 100 addresses because it didn't use HD wallets where one seed word generated everything or one seed phrase generated everything. It manually generated public private key pairs that then generated addresses. And then, you would just lose all your stuff. And, back then there were so fewer users and they used it so little, probably not that many guys ran into that particular problem, hopefully. Or maybe that's where all those unmoved coins are. You always look at all those unmoved coins. You're like, I wonder why those people never spend any of that money. It's always interesting. So when you want to replace everything, it helps to be 10 times better than what you're replacing. And the more harshly the governments crack down on their people, the more welcoming and more of a competitive advantage what we have has to offer. So in the Netherlands, they're destroying the farmers. I find that to be disgusting. And in Canada, when they squash political protest by seizing the bank accounts of people that even sent money for other people to buy sandwiches, so you're guilty of a crime of funding sandwich purchases. Nope, not okay. As you said, freedom of movement destroyed, freedom of speech destroyed, and it really is. I mean, all the libertarian. This is what I've always found so funny. Libertarian guys would always say government bad. You're like, okay. They're private companies. Go start your own Facebook. And you're like, you can't actually do that. It doesn't work. Like they tried, I think Parler tried that, and then they got shut down. They lost their hosting. They got banned everywhere. And so there's an entrenched media conglomerate that controls the narrative about everything. Like I heard Zuckerberg on Rogan, and I read the comments, which I should never do. Comments are where happy people go to die, particularly on channels that aren't mine. And somebody in the channel was like, hey, ask about Zuckerberg checking like $400 million at influencing the election. And so why he acts fair and balanced in public when he talks about the decisions Facebook's made. And then you look at what he's doing privately. Apparently he's funding the crap out of, left things. Now it's like, you want to be apolitical because you want to on-ramp every kind of user. But on the other hand, you want to live in a better place. And there's a very obvious difference between the guys that wouldn't let you travel, wouldn't let you see your family, still won't let you travel, and just treat you like a guinea pig. And there's a particular type of politics that those people tend to like, and that disgusts me. And like this idea of like, hey, let's hire 80,000 agents for the IRS, and you're like, the government doesn't produce anything. They don't make anything. They just take your money and give it to other people. That's all they do. They don't farm. They don't build cars. They don't build planes. They don't build sodas. They don't make paint. All they do is take your money and give it to other people. And so the more human beings in the society that get sucked into the machine of redistributing other people's wealth, the less people there are left to bear the load of actually doing the work of making the world a better place. So I'll give you an example. Germany. Apparently 24% the price of gas in Germany is actually the price of gas. And the rest is all tax and crap. And so they tax it to death. So here's what they do. I mean, it's wild to me that governments think that they can print their way into prosperity. Running the money printer doesn't make you a prosperous nation. Building stuff makes you a prosperous nation. So cryptocurrency is a more efficient medium of exchange, a more efficient store of value, a more durable good, a more recognizable good, nearly impossible to counterfeit. Traditionally, these other currencies are not. It has other properties such as, if you get paid and you wait enough confirmations, you really got paid. There's no chargebacks. But if in the United States you accept an ACH transfer, they can charge that back up to 6 months, maybe even a year later. You never really have the money. It's a joke. They can always claw it back. And wire transfers are different from ACH. And that's different than a merchant processing account. And that's different from PayPal law. So, cryptocurrency is one of the only technologies that exists that can return the power back to the people and make you rich at the same time. There's a lot of things you do to improve the world that cost you personally, and you don't end up profiting. You just end up losing. So hey, this guy's poor. You give him all your money. Now you're broke. He's rich. Okay. And he'll probably become broke again, because that's how I got broke in the first place. That's why trust exists. So you trickle money at people so they don't just go blow it all. And then they're like, yeah, well, I gave you all the money, blow it all. That's why trust exists, so that you can trickle the money at them. So same thing with improving the world through crypto, is that you can get rich doing it, and then you become stronger while you're making the world a better place. When you put your financial energy into peer-to-peer, open source, distributed, censorship resistant, known future issuance, something gets more rare instead of more common, it's good for everybody that's involved. Obviously, what price you get in at makes a difference, and the rate at which you're acquiring users and things like that. But it's a growth market. I mean, right now, the dollar's at its all-time low versus stuff, and other national currencies are at 20-year lows versus the dollar. So imagine if you held a currency that wasn't the dollar, another fiat currency, like say the euro, the dollar's down massive, and then the euro's down an extra third. It lost a third of its purchasing power over the last 15 years versus the dollar. And cryptocurrency would solve that. If you bought Bitcoin or Ethereum or Dogecoin or Hex or anything much earlier, not anything, but any of the things that has good product market fit and durability, good security, well, you'd be up massive right now. You'd have life-changing wealth. People talk about, oh, it's too late to buy Hex. You're like, oh, really? It's too late before it's listed on any big exchanges, before there's any documentaries, before there's a copy on another chain, while there's a 90% dip, and then also while there's only 107,000 stakers. That's when it's too late, because it sounds early to me. That sounds really early to me. I don't think 107,000 stakers is the end. I think it's the beginning. And you guys are proof of that. We put on like 4,000 or 5,000 of those in just the last couple months. There's sites that publish like how many new users per day and things like that. Yeah. So cryptocurrency, Hex. Well, the original question was freedom and vertical integration, and I covered the freedom a bit, but I didn't cover the vertical integration. Hex is made better by PulseChain. PulseChain, especially in the beginning, is made better by Ethereum. You're not going. Probably most of the activity is going to be through bridges in the beginning until it gets direct listings, right? Because you have to touch the fiat world. You have to touch the economic energy that people get paid in. So the more secure that is, better for everybody. Not to mention, guys, Hex is on Ethereum as well. So a more secure Ethereum is a nice one. And then the wallet, I'm not extremely happy with the wallet ecosystem in Ethereum. I'd like to see more diversity. I'd like to see there be more options. I'm having one built. It's in progress. So in theory, vertical integration would be, you've got the trading on PulseX, you've got the consensus network on PulseChain, you've got value storage and Hex, but really all of these would probably serve value storage pretty good. But time deposit, there's nothing that's going to do that better than Hex. And we've got all these derivatives built on top of Hex now. So you may have heard of them, like Hadron, Icosa, Maxi. We've also got the incentive token. That right there is almost the whole stack. So you've got coins, trading, consensus network, wallet. Only thing left is fiat on-ramp and off-ramp. And then you're pretty much vertically integrated in that ecosystem. And it's weird to use the term vertical integration on things that are distributed, but they're more cultural, So probably if you like salsa, you're more likely to like merengue. If you like one kind of Latin music, you're probably more likely to like another kind of Latin music. If you like one kind of video game, you're probably more likely to like another kind of video game.
Let me ask you one last question. Obviously what we have seen with Tornado Cash, you've talked about, this idea of having privacy. Can you speak to that topic a bit with
Sure.
the ecosystem?
You have to have privacy. You have to have it. First of all, it's a protected human right. So the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution states that there should be no unreasonable search and seizure. Well, why? Because the guys that wrote that were being unreasonably searched and seized, and they got tired of it. It sucked to just have anybody come in your house and search all your stuff all the time. It sucked. And then we had a digital right against that, or we had an analog right against that. So if you broke into someone else's mailbox and read their mail, that's a federal crime. Big no-no. But now everybody reads your mail. ISP reads your mail. Email provider reads your mail. Admin at their network reads the mail. It's a joke. And so you lost your analog rights in the digital world. And that's not the only place that's happened. You also lost, so there was laws about utilities and you having to have access to utilities. The telephone was a utility and it had to be affordable to access it. So they broke up a monopoly. They broke up Ma Bell into little regional things and split it up so you could get better deals. But now our utilities are social media, but they haven't been broken up, even though they're more useful to us than the original utility the telephone was. And so now you are this close to getting banned at all times. This close. It could be random, it could be bot. I've had my YouTube channel banned 4 times, I believe. Luckily, it keeps coming back, but maybe one day it won't. Nice.
All right, folks, let's get down to business. Richard Hart is a genius, and if you don't recognize that, you're an idiot. I'll start there. Richard Hart has seen these things before they were in the mainstream culture. He was talking about the freedom of speech and the freedom of movement long before you sensed it yourself. I want you to understand the truth about the Pulse chain. The Pulse chain isn't just an Ethereum fork. It's not just a tool that's got the system state. It's not just that you'll get your fancy coins on Ethereum on a new chain. It's not that, oh, PulseX has got buyback and burn. All of these innovations working together actually serve a greater purpose. If you're listening to Richard Hart, and if you're interested in actually what's going on, you will understand that this is way bigger. And I don't mean bigger because you're going to be richer and you're going to be able to buy stuff so people think you're rich and treat you differently. It is not about that. We are in an absolute crisis right now. Absolute crisis. And we see it everywhere we go. I just saw AOC gloating about how they fired Tucker Carlson. And it's just sickening. And everything that we thought was true, right? It's flipped on its head, right? It's all upside down. The amazing thing that's happening, I've listened to Richard Hart. I don't know if you have. I'm going to Consensus with Gary from Funding Gym, from Westcott Crypto and Walrus. We're going to represent the Pulse chain this week at Consensus. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Everything is on the line. Absolutely everything is on the line. And show me a founder, show me somebody in crypto who not only sees it ahead of time, but actually puts the work and energy into protecting you and serving you in the future. What does Richard Hart say? It's not the best message of, I want the glory, but you understand what the glory is? Helping people get out of debt and consumer slavery. It's about having something that actually returns this thing to popular control. PulseChain is not just crypto. PulseChain is our future potentially for freedom and sovereignty. Why? Why am I so adamant about that? Because here's the thing you have to understand. All of these things are under attack, and it requires leadership. Leadership is number one. In my work, all of my work I've ever done in the fundraising world, everything is about a narrative. Because actually, we speak things into existence. What do you mean we speak things into existence? Leadership is what shares the vision of a future that we all see together. And people like Richard Hart that define a vertically aligned ecosystem on the Pulse chain are telling a different story than you can just get rich, but you can also just get rich. And for those who don't care and are degens and don't understand what's at stake, listen to the old man. Listen to Richard Hart. He's not that much younger than me. We are actually fighting for the future of our posterity's freedom, literally. If we do not have a place to transact, if we don't have a place that doesn't censor us, if we don't have a place that's immutable, if we don't have a leader who's leading out in this and is getting this new layer one, appropriately decentralized, it will come under attack. But you might just think, oh man, when Lambo? And you know what? There are people out here like Gary from Funding Gin, Richard Hart himself, myself, others around who see it for what it is. This isn't just like when PulseChain. This is actually the only thing I see out in the landscape that actually will be censorship resistant, that actually will not have to be OFAC compliant. This will be a system in a vertically aligned ecosystem where you won't have to take the mark of the beast in order to do buying and selling. What does it say in the Bible? It says there's going to be a mark that you'd have to have, and they will restrict you from buying and selling. I thought that was crazy talk when I was a kid. Crazy talk. There's no way there's going to be a situation where government control beast is going to have some, what are we going to put 666 on our foreheads? No. These tools are being animated by evil, my friends. Evil, straight up evil, demonic realm, pitchforks and horns. This stuff is being animated by people who want to control you. So, what is this all about? We have to have a place to do our business. Richard Hart gets it. That's why I played this for you. Richard Hart understands this. You're being distracted by all kinds of other things. This is a genuine advocacy for you. Richard Hart's actual heart in all this isn't to dupe you out of your money and try to get, something from you for nothing. He wants to bring value, and he recognizes that this is our opportunity. But it's not built overnight. And so we've been waiting for a long time. That's why you'll never hear me, getting upset and fudding this stuff out. Why? Because it's not about you getting rich. It's about all of us winning together. Because if anybody loses, we all lose. But Richard Hart is willing to say, I'm going to set up something where we all win. Are you jealous that he wins bigger than you? Or your neighbor wins bigger than you? The neat thing about it is it's proportional to your risk. But folks, I don't give you financial advice. I'm just trying to tell you the future. I see it for what it is. There is no one in crypto with the leadership skills of Richard Hart that understands actually what needs to be built. You know what? Frankly, he's not the guy who's just out on YouTube. Let's make a YouTube video. No, he's actually working to make sure that we have a chance to transact in our future. Think about this for a second. When you fork Ethereum, and when you have properly decentralized it, right? It's not sitting on AWS alone. It's not sitting in Azure's cloud. It's everywhere. It's got its tentacles everywhere. That's the beauty of the blockchain. He's going to make sure that that's the case so that if someone from the government says, man, that PulseChain thing, that's a problem for us. Let's shut them down. Let's have an executive order that goes into AWS and shuts down that hosting, just like he mentioned with Parler. Richard Hart is actually defending you, and you don't even know it. And it's not just, my coin goes up 10,000x. It's so much more fundamental than you realize. And that's the thing that gets me so worked up. Look at what we have. This world is completely upside down, right? The media, the mainstream media, is literally sold its soul to the corporate interests. Right? Brought to you by Pfizer, right? They're not going to speak against that stuff. They didn't like Tucker because he actually criticized. He told the truth to people. But folks, whether it's big tech, big pharma, these tools right here on this platform, social media tools that have enabled us to come together and declare our own value is our ticket to financial freedom, autonomy, sovereignty. All these other people want to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight because you know what? Most of them think that this is just the same old, just incremental progression of the blockchain. This is just financial version 2. No, it's not. It's a hard break from a system that is toxic, that is extractive in nature, that doesn't reflect the very essence of the creation, which is abundant. And so how amazing is it? Why did Richard Hart get $1.6 billion sacrificed over Pulse and PulseX? Because he built a token that was a better Bitcoin, and it went up 10,000x in 623 days. He had a track record. And then he starts talking to you about things like this. Hey, a vertically aligned ecosystem. Oh yeah, what does that mean? Well, these things are under attack. It's basic to him. He's sickened by it. You bought a sandwich for somebody in Canada, and they shut down your bank account. Folks, this is authoritarianism. But with these tools of decentralizing tools to communicate to people, we have to understand that a big part of what makes us successful is considering others in addition to ourselves. And guess what Richard Hart is leading with? He's concerned about you. If he was just some guy who's he'd rug pull, he would do something, he's got enough money, he would just go away if it was about him solely. But he's considering you in addition to himself. He's like, hold on a second. Maybe making the world a better place is a good thing. Show me other people. People might talk about that, but they get into bed with players who will control them because they want a piece of the action. Look at Ripple and XRP. They just want a piece of the action, and it's obvious. Who is going to stand up to this authoritarian? Who's going to stand up to globalists? We have to have a mechanism, a vertically aligned ecosystem to do business with one another. You take away the ability to transact without censorship, without tracking, and you've removed it all. You controlled the whole system. And here's the thing, folks. We have to defend the alternative, and it has to be pure. And so one of the things that I don't know that Richard anticipated was how many people were going to build projects on the PulseChain. And in my opinion, if Richard Hart was listening to this, I would just say, Richard, please be more collaborative with the people who believe in your layer one. You don't have to be collaborative with everyone, but be collaborative, because we're building something special here, and we are behind you, and we understand what you're trying to accomplish, and we want you to get the glory, because we recognize that if you win, we win. And you recognize that if we win, you win. Folks, this is the first time in human history where political power or war powers are separated from financial power. First time in human history. You used to win a war, you'd kill everybody, take their gold, and rewrite the rules in your favor. And what do we have now? We have the ability to peacefully have a revolution, and it's financial. And these resources will transform everything. Look at the Texan token. Why do this Texan token thing with the TNM? Why did we do this? Folks, we're not building another meme coin. This isn't just like, oh, let's do a project and then put the PulseChain's there. Let's just go get some money from people. Let's do a sacrifice. No, 100% of the money went to the TNM. Why? Because they're fighting for the independence of Texas, because people are upset with the federal government, this Leviathan, this massive behemoth that is devouring people with this fourth leg of government called the bureaucratic state. And people, it's absolute clown world. You're messing with our kids. You're messing with our money. It's time. So what do? We need to work together. Not every token is created the same, right? You may be into meme coins. You may be into these things. That's fine. You have your choice. But I think we need to take a page out of Richard's book, and we need to say, Richard, thank you for leading. We need to extend out your vision and tell people the honest truth. This isn't about what you may think of Richard Hart. This may not be what you think of Hex. If you do not defend a truly decentralized layer one and vertically aligned ecosystem to transact on, there will be a point in time where you may be fine, just like the guy who wanted to get back into the matrix. I want to remember nothing. Yeah, go back into the matrix. That's fine. And you'll just live by those rules. And the question is, what is that kind of life? Right? What is it about dying on your knees? Folks, I will not give in to this. So we got to constantly be doing this. But here's the crazy thing. If you make that clarion call out to people and you say, listen, we have an alternative, we need to be sharing that vision, because that vision not only serves the PulseChain, but some people will come because they're, hey, I'd like to get rich. I like fancy watches. But hopefully they'll stay, because the vision is actually advocacy for not only your financial success, but for your freedom and sovereignty, which means everything. Your ability to speak, your ability to move, your ability to have privacy. Folks, when you start listening to that stuff that Richard was talking about, I think we kind of glossed over it. We're like, oh, yeah, I've heard that before. Oh, vertically aligned ecosystem. That's part of the talking points. No, listen to him. It is extremely compelling. And it's also extremely authentic. He gets it. He's a true innovator. To him, it's obvious. To us, we're just getting up to speed because we're not where he is. Richard Hart is going to get the glory. He may not get it from the people that he wants it from, but he's going to get it from us. Because, folks, this isn't about worshiping a man. No man should be worshipped, right? God is the only one that deserves our worship. But, folks, when you see this kind of leadership, get on board. What can you do? What is your role? And what are we doing? We're building a project. We're saying, listen, we're going to advocate for people who are in debt and consumer slavery. We're going to go after people in poverty and help them. What happens when you give people money that don't have money? They're out of poverty. Oh, that's a great solution. How do you do that? Oh, Fear Crypto. How do we do that? We bring gifts to people. How do we support independence movements where people say, no, how are we going to push back? Good luck to you. If you think that this current system, just like, let's get the next guy, let's go put the next guy into office and he'll take care of it for us. We know that's broken. It does not work. And so what power do you have, right? We're stopping this car. We're turning this thing around. And it's our responsibility. So if you're somebody that's Gen X or below, this is our job. We got to fix this system and return it to popular control. And how do we do it? We've got to grab onto any lever or handle we possibly can, and right in front of us is a guy who gets it, and he got it before we did. And not enough people are talking about that. This is the truth of the pulse chain. The pulse chain isn't just some, well, new layer one. I've seen layer ones in the past and they've done well. Great. If all you're looking at is the X's, great. That comes with it. But here's the thing. Do you think it's more compelling when you talk to somebody and say, hey, are you concerned about what the future looks like under the CBDCs? Do you realize the Federal Reserve is going to drop, regional banks? Do you realize that there's literally a war of the US dollar across the world? Do you see what's happening in the BRICS nation? Do you understand that this forever war that we want with Ukraine is about money and about funding the business of war? Do you understand that people in China have already bought and paid for the Biden family? Do you understand how this stuff all fits? And do you understand, I've read the book and it leads to this one world government. The amazing thing about this is the people that are a part of this resistance are the people that are going to have freedom, sovereignty, freedom to speak, freedom to move, freedom to transact. And we have an advocate in that. And if you can't see that, wake up. This is the truth about the pulse chain. The pulse chain is what it is. A new Ethereum fork with the entire system state and all your tokens will be over there. Hey, that's a great selling point. Nice feature. But why are we doing this? Why is Richard doing this? He isn't doing this so, well, I can scrape some more money into my pocket and take it from you. Richard Hart doesn't have an extraction and scarcity mentality. He sees something that could literally unlock value for all of us. And that's not just like some people, that's like everybody. Anyone who participates in this. So here's the thing. I talked to my wife. She's like, oh, I don't really understand crypto. And you talk to people about this stuff and you say, well, do you care about our kids and what they're taught in schools? Yeah. Do you care about our ability to make our own decisions? Do you think it's important for us to have the freedom and sovereignty to choose? Well, of course she'd say yes. That's the pulse chain. Really? I've been talking about it as like, let's just it's a get rich quick scheme. That's what everybody wants to talk about. Hey, what's your price prediction for pulse chain? It doesn't matter if you cannot transact. It doesn't matter if we don't have a vertically aligned ecosystem, because the plan of those who have literally sold their soul to the devil, they literally they see this as an absolute panacea of control. And it's fueled basically by this idea that China is a better model. Look at the folks. I mean, you don't have to go far. Just go to the northern border to Canada. Trudeau will tell you all about how China is a way better system because their people actually fall into line and follow the company line. Folks, we're in Texas. We're in the United States. We don't go along with that stuff. That's why we've got guns. People don't like that, man. We don't want people to be armed. We don't want people to defend themselves. We don't want people to actually have an opinion other than ours. It is absolutely dire. And I see it. I'm just like, folks, it's not that the pulse chain is the answer to all of our problems. But what I'm saying is if we don't have the infrastructure to transact, we don't speak and we don't move. And I really think we need to hear more from Richard Hart about privacy. Privacy is so important. He says it many, many times. What are you going to expose what you're paying your different employees and they can see it out on the blockchain? You have to have privacy in order to have transactions. There are certain things that are meant to be there. Now, is this idea of the blockchain? Well, fundamentally, as a distributed ledger, is really powerful. But you still have times when you have to obfuscate that, meaning it's just not everyone's right to know everything. But that's where privacy sits. He talked about email. He talked about the fact that, it used to be a federal law if somebody came in and read your mail out of your mailbox. But now you gave it away. That right does not exist in the digital world. Everyone reads your email. And then they package up your data and sell it to others. It's amazing to me. So I've got diabetes, right? So I got my diabetes, test my blood sugar. It's unbelievable. Like every single news organization sells my data and I get bombarded with that stuff because they're like, hey, money, 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 money. Folks, we're in a system that actually there's some hope. Richard Hart is not a god. Okay? I think it's really important. Richard Hart is a really damn smart person who actually cares for other people. That's it. And he leads. He's got leadership qualities. Why was he so successful with Hex? Let me break that down for you. The reason he's so successful with Hex is because it's not about technology. Richard Hart is the greatest combination of, one, understanding when people are BSing him about code. And then two, he understands what value is. He understands human psychology. He understands tokenomics, and he understands marketing. Does he do it perfectly? No, but who does? This whole wanting to get the glory can some cases be a stumbling block because it can be pride. However, the advocacy part of this, what keeps him going, do you realize if he just stopped doing it and said, I got enough money, I'm going to go sit on the beach. That's not good, folks. Because this is hope for us to be able to animate the tools of the blockchain in a way where there's not tracking and censorship, and it has to be standalone. And I hope you understand that. It's not just about blockchain. Blockchain isn't just one thing. We have to ensure that these things are truly decentralized. And we have to assume that's why, what are the first principles of crypto? And you know what's funny to me is all these new meme coins pop up and everybody gets on this thing or that thing. And they're like, I've got 78 different projects and all this stuff. I would ask you, when you look at projects, and this is the way I look at them, people have said in the past, hey, what's your utility? You know what we need to actually say in the future? Forget utility for a minute. We need to ask, how are you going to make the world a better place by having this token in the market? What's your ethos? What's your why? Why are you doing this? And I would ask that of every token that you're in right now. What are the founders? Why do they want to be there? They say it's fair crypto. Okay. What are you all about? What is the why? What are you trying to accomplish? Because here's the thing. These narratives fit a certain type of person. Why are we tokenizing communities? Because we understand that trust is everything. And it's not trust on the blockchain. It's trust between individuals. Because where there is trust, that's where you've got community. And what drives this? Adoption. What drives adoption? Communication. Oh, it's like a communication network. Yeah, people tell other people. Yeah. Folks, we're sitting on the precipice of one of the most exciting times in human history, but it's also one of the most difficult. We're at the bottom of a bear market, and we know something good's going to come in the future, but here's what I suspect. I suspect it's either war or it's financial war. It's either real physical analog war or it is financial war. And we're going to see it'll fall in on itself. It'll probably be led by the commercial real estate market. That's probably what will lead to this collapse. But guess what? Who are the beneficiaries of this collapse? What is this transfer of resources? Well, people escape to things that give them comfort, right? People escape to things that they think are secure. They want to hedge their bets. They want to go to something that seems stable or potentially grows. And so what do you see people doing? Oh, Bitcoin and gold or whatever it is, right? Whatever your story that you like, that you think is a safe haven. That's where people are going to go. So in my opinion, the only way we solve this big issue long-term is if there is a non-governmental asset-backed basket of cryptocurrencies that is the liquidity that backs all of this stuff, and it's not controlled by governments. And for those who have ears to hear, listen up. The PulseChain is not just a technology. It's actually the representative layer one of a vision of a vertically aligned ecosystem that increases your freedom and sovereignty. And if you don't realize that we're literally on the edge of people, evil side winning. But here's the thing. The evil side doesn't know what the good has planned, and that's us. We have decisions to make, and I want to encourage you to be supportive. I want you to be encouraging to others. I want you to go out of your way to serve other people, because in 1994, John Nash won the Nobel Prize for the Nash equilibrium, which was his contribution to game theory. Look it up. The Nash equilibrium. It was the movie. A Beautiful Mind was made out of it by Russell Crowe, right? He was in that movie. What was that all about? It is influence negotiations because it's essentially where win-win comes from. This idea that if I consider you in addition to myself, we all win. But if I just watch out for myself, I may win, but you will lose. This world is set up on this scarcity model where I'm going to get mine at all costs. I'm going to step on your neck, step on your head, get my stuff, extract it from you. What do you think colonialism is all about? Oh, well, we built infrastructure. Yeah, but you know what we're really there for? To take your stuff. And guess what we're about to do? That's what we want to do with Russia, and that's what we want to do in China because we got the bigger guns. We want the oil and gas contracts. Why did we blow up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline? Because we wanted the contracts for Europe. This is evil stuff about extraction and money. It is not considering what's best for people, and it has ceased to represent us. So, with that and 100 people watching, I want to read you something. I don't know if the Texas House is going to allow us to have our day in the sun. House Bill 3596 is in the Texas House right now, and it's assigned to committee. The next step is for the committee to say, all right, I want that to be, we need to have a hearing on this. It'll happen on a Wednesday. And people are doing everything they can to keep it from happening. Well, I wrote something that I would say, but I may not get an opportunity to say it. And I think this is the appropriate time to say it. But I want you to hear what I'm about to say, because I wrote this to say in the capital of Texas during a hearing. But I may not get the chance to share it. But it is relevant to all of this because it really goes to the core why of what we're doing. So put your mind into the frame of reference of Texas and its independence. Ladies and gentlemen of the Texas House Committee, honorable representatives, and fellow Texans, I stand before you today as a proud and passionate advocate of Texas independence. I humbly ask you for your attention as I share my testimony in support of House Bill 3596, which seeks to ignite a new chapter in our state's storied history. Our Lone Star State has always been a land of dreamers, pioneers, and trailblazers. It was born from the fires of revolution as brave men and women fought for their right to govern themselves and forge their destinies. Our ancestors' sacrifice, determination, gave rise to a republic that shone brightly as a beacon of freedom and opportunity. Though our time as an independent nation was brief, the spirit of self-reliance, resilience, and innovation that defined the Republic of Texas has never waned. Today, we find ourselves at a crossroads, facing challenges that demand decisive action and renewed commitment to our state's unique identity. As we navigate a world of shifting geopolitical landscapes and economic uncertainties, we must ask ourselves, is it time to reclaim our independence and chart a bold new path forward? House Bill 3596 provides the answer. It is a call to every Texan who yearns to protect our liberties, safeguard our values, and ensure the prosperity of future generations. By supporting this bill, we take a stand for our state's rights to govern itself and embrace its full potential as a global leader. Imagine a Texas that is free to pursue its own economic interests, harness the vast energy resources underneath our feet, and fostering cutting-edge technologies and industries to create jobs, wealth, and opportunity for Texans. Imagine a Texas that sets its own standards for education, equipping our children with the skills and knowledge they need to thrive in the 21st century. Imagine a Texas that is true to its heritage, with policies that reflect our deeply held beliefs in personal freedom, individual responsibility, and limited government. Ladies and gentlemen, the future of Texas is in our hands. We have the opportunity to build a prosperous, self-sufficient, and independent Texas. One that honors the spirit of the Alamo, Goliad, and San Jacinto. By supporting House Bill 3596, we can write the next chapter in our state's incredible story, creating a legacy that will inspire generations to come. Together, we can forge a new path for the Lone Star State with courage in our hearts and an unwavering belief in the power of the Texan spirit. Let us stand united in our quest for independence and let the world know that Texas, once again, is ready to shine. I implore you to give Texas. I demand that you provide Texans the opportunity to have their voices heard. Thank you for your time and consideration, and God bless Texas. Folks, this is what it's about. Are we utilizing crypto like Richard Hart is utilizing crypto? Yes. By doing what? Making it do our bidding, our business. What do we want to do? I want to make this world a better place by unlocking global generosity. How do we do that? By giving people the opportunity to win. I want to tokenize every possible community that's got trust in it. And Richard Hart says, you've got a home in the PulseChain. Because I want the people of Texas, I want the people of the Philippines, and I want the people across every community to have a place that they can transact without literally being censored and without being controlled and without being tracked. And if we don't defend that kind of liberty and that kind of freedom, folks, we're at that last phase. Because once they take over the money, and once they take over the money and control, because right now you can use cash, right? You can do a lot of things without people looking over your shoulder. But just like Richard Hart said in that, used to, somebody read your mail and it was a federal offense to go into your mailbox. But you gave away your sovereignty without even knowing it in the digital world. And as long as I'm a part of this, as long as hopefully Richard Hart is a part of his mission and vision, we literally can stand up against this stuff and make sure that in this digital transition to money, that we don't give up our freedom and sovereignty in the process. Folks, this is the most consequential time in human history. I haven't seen anyone have this kind of opportunity that we have, but people are going to be struggling around us. And I would say, who are those of you that are mature? Who are those of you who actually hear the call that Richard's making? We have to defend freedom and sovereignty. So that is the truth about the PulseChain. I think what Richard is doing, he uses the bling and all that stuff, and it's an interesting mechanism to say, hey, I think what he's saying when he blings the watches and stuff that he did in the past with this outrage marketing is, I understand you're stupid and all you care about is this stuff. And it's almost a commentary on it. You have no idea that I'm trying to save you from yourself. And I hear that. No man is perfect, but leadership is absolutely critical because everything is a shared fiction. Everything is a story that we're telling ourselves. And this is the first time that we can actually declare our own value together. And I want to do that on a vertically aligned ecosystem that at least has the best shot of not being controlled by centralized authorities. Everyone else will sell out. Richard Hart will not sell out. Well, that's the truth about the PulseChain, folks. There's the rant. Let's get back into the chat. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. My name is Matt. This is Crypto Heartbeat. And be on the lookout for tomorrow from Consensus, and Wednesday we'll be with Walrus and Gary from Funding Gym and Bobby and Westcott Crypto. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And hopefully I'll get some photos with some folks and be able to talk about some pretty cool stuff out there. But let's get back into the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see where we are. Peace. Let's start with the Church of the Universal Oneness. Peace, love, and good health, friends. Nate Mintz, preach it out. Ryan Hungate, Matt. I knew you had the Hulk smashing you, man. There you go. Crypto Compassion. Let's go. Richard Hart gets way too much hate for all he's helped the crypto community. Well, we know that, right? As always, Crypto Heartbeat is spot on. Thanks, man. Mixed Crypto Hearts, great team funding Jim, CHB, and Walrus, absolutely. And do not forget Westcott Crypto, man. He put up a short today. I was like, that is so awesome. He's a big Pulse X fan. And so am I. Crypto Compassion set the captives free. Hexonium, what's going on? Jackie Klage, good to see you. Daniel Vogel, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Whoo! Isn't that the truth, man? And that's it. That's right. Right? Men are women, women are men, all that stuff. There's so many examples of that. Sam Kemp is here. Good to see you, Sam Kemp. Crypto Compassion, DeFi for the win. Absolutely. Vibra Finance CEO. What's up, fam? God bless. Hexonium, the timing for launch will be perfect now. Hope and pray the world will be ready for mainnet. Folks, I think, at least from my perspective and my spiritual perspective, that I believe things like this were designed long ago. And I think that the timing will be perfect because it had to wait. And it's hard to wait. But you know what? It's going to come right on time. Anders, woe to you, O earth and sea. Absolutely. The battle is fought and the victory is won. It is finished. Mego Art, well said. Tortoise Johnny in the house. Roots, what's up? Facts. Tortoise Johnny caught that Joker reference. You like that? You like that? People don't understand that evil rarely comes in the form of an ugly demon, but mostly the thing of beauty that's rotten inside. Amen to that. That's why you have to be on guard, folks. This stuff is upside down. And the thing about it is just tweaked a little bit, right? Where we give our authority away. And we just give it away and give it away because people are more likely to suffer than to change. Hexonium, long time ago, we saw Richard live stream. I even start to miss Richard unboxing. You know what? Now I've got such appreciation for him. Think about this. We're coming up on a year since the May 15th call. And I'm like, oh, it's hard to wait. And my wife's like, I thought it launched. I'm like, no, that was V3. I was excited about that too. But you got to be an eternal optimist, right? As Hexy Quinn would say, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. I mean, there's just no point. That's what makes this community unique. It's attracted people that are forward thinking and optimistic. But folks, most people don't understand, and here's the funny thing. As all this stuff crumbles and as Babylon burns in an hour, and if there's anything left standing, it's going to be Richard Heart ecosystem. And where are people going to flock to? Just hang on, folks. This is going to be one heck of a ride. But the question is, how are you contributing? Because now you have something more to talk about than then, hey, man, once you get into crypto, it goes up a lot. It's not just number go up. That's a great part of it. Super volatile, yes. But there's more at stake here, folks. Defending these things are so important. When Richard came out with the PulseChain and said, oh, I'm doing it for free speech, I thought it was just a hokey convention to avoid an ICO. Oh, no. It is a political statement, folks. And there could never be a bigger political statement than putting your money where your mouth is. Face value socialism, communism may sound good to the youth, but it's corrupt to the core. Amen to that. Tale 7, Richard Hart is trying to instill and reinforce morals into those he's making rich. That's very powerful. It's super powerful. And it's the why. People buy what you make, not why. Why you make it, not what you make or how you make it. The golden circle, right? Simon Sinek. Dave Down Under, if you're a pure person, PulseChain, PulseX, will help you achieve your goals. I think that's fact. Fire from Hexy Quinn. Follow Clown World on Twitter. Oh, man, you got to get off that stuff. It's hard. I follow it too, and I just get sickened by it. The truth will set you free, which is why most politicians fear it. That's well said. Well said. Invest and support that in which you believe. Yep, it's got to resonate with you and be authentic. That's one thing I seek to be all the time. Rags is the same way. You want to be authentic. Richard Hart is being authentic. It actually was the hard part for me. It was all the outrage marketing wasn't authentic because I knew who the guy was. Fancy cars and watches aren't as exciting after you acquire them, right? Nothing's as good as it's cracked up to be. Extravagant taste, ethical leadership is worth its weight in gold. Amen to that. What's up, Matthew Such? Richard Hart did say that just giving people money doesn't fix anything, and that's how they got broke in the first place. That's right. You were listening. Barry Crump, the WEF and its cohorts don't like crypto because it offers a way for the average Joe to gain financial freedom. Those who are financially independent cannot be so easily controlled. And, that's why it's hard to onboard people who have already made a living because they've made all their money in the current system. Why would they want to support something that destroys it? but it's going to inevitably be here standing. There is no CBDC. It's the ledger. We technically have a CBDC in our notes and the digits of our accounts. Once we move over to FedNow, that's when your purchases are known. FedNow is coming very, very soon, right? Pay attention to that. If you don't know about FedNow, check it out. Nate Mintz, he's the stakes and the snakes to me. The community has been chosen, right time, right place, crypto compassion. Absolutely. Hopefully you see that. The plan is literally this. Your money moves on the FedNow ledger, FedNow balance sheet instead of your banks. Then you'll get your social score based on purchases. Wow. You need to pay attention, folks. Mr. Hellbox is preaching it. Folks, it's coming sooner than you think. It doesn't even have to be a CBDC. It can be this FedNow ledger. And guess what? In my opinion, all these regional banks, they want them to go away. They want you to literally have to suckle from the teat of the Federal Reserve. So it's not a CBDC per se. Conversely, I'm no fan of China, but if you think they're the enemy, then you're already lost. Well, and if you think of humanity as one, it's those who have aligned themselves with evil forces, in my opinion. Crypto compassion, PulseChain equals fuel, the mission. There you go. Try Unicity for your diabetes. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Kansas Crypto, fiat on ramps and off, and banks are the weak links in crypto. You can turn your crypto into cash. It's worthless. Amen. And you know what? That's going to drive things, because that is going to get clamped down on. And it's going to be really difficult to get out to fiat, and people are going to lose hope. But what happens is that creates marketplaces, and that we're going to start doing transactions in our currencies, in our crypto, where we have amassed, proxies for our labor, because that's all it is, right? You create value, they pay you, and you put that into crypto. It's a representation of you. You are the product. Unlocking global generosity can humble glory. Humble glory. Big Miners one. I think you're in Tokyo, or that's Japan somewhere. Matt, you have the best energy. Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. 90% of crypto is going to be gone. So make your money in it when you can. Nobody thought Tornado Cash would be gone, and it is. Is there a central server or contracts of crypto is useless? There's more of us than there are of them. I'm optimistic about it. I think we need to fight this. We can't give in. K4K just put a very exciting PLSX video. Man, he's milked that PLSX thing. No, he's a genius, and I recognized it from the beginning. The bottom is not in. Quantifiably correct. Tornado Cash isn't gone. There are many others. Okay, we're kind of talking about that. If people are stupid enough to create a new low, then good, I'll buy it, and they can be slaves. There you go. Cadium. Yes. Why? There it is. It's all about the why. Looking forward to it, Cadium. Moon Whale, what's going on? Yes, it has. Red Squirrels in the house. Nick's R. Frankie's here. Sam Kemp. Boom. Dropping the truth bombs. Matt for president of Texas. Crypto Compassion. Man, I just want to finance a revolution. I don't need that stuff. Texas belongs to Mexico. Don't you forget it. That's right. Cheryl Miller, that's great testimony. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Cheryl. Trying to bring it, right? Even if we can't get in front of the committee, we'll at least share it with our friends. Bro, they already took over the money 100 years ago. Well, like I said, I'm not, you know what? I've got optimism because, for a lot of reasons. If you watch my 2-hour sessions with Steve Staggs, you'll know what I mean. Dollar bills, y'all. Holla. Good old Bobby Hexelrod in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Ramon Carilla, Matt, you're making me tear up. Wow, that's a big deal. I've met you, man. That's a tall order right there. Nabil Steele with the clap at empty corner. Great speech, Matt. Thanks. Pamela Simpson, great to see you. Love to you all. Lenses, extravagant taste, Matt. Thank you for your leadership. It means the world to us. Sexy Quinn, Crypto Ethos, Rich Liberation, United We Stand. Yes, we set the captives free, and that's what it's about. Bearded Saint, that's the man right there. Z's in the house. Hello, Matt. Glad I caught a live stream. Stay blessed. You too. How do you like Robert F. Kennedy running as a Democrat? Well, you figure the Kennedy family, even though he was, labeled a conspiracy theorist and really defended things from an environmental perspective. He was an environmental attorney. And of course, everybody in his family basically died or killed themselves or were suicided. And to see Robert F. Kennedy pushing back against this, actually, I think it's good. I think it's good for the debate. And I think that Robert F. Kennedy is a thorn in the side of the liberals, right? But you know what? He comes from what is the why behind the Kennedy thing? Why did they kill JFK and Bobby? Why did they kill his brother? They were threatening leadership. Great explanation. PulseChain. Thank you, JJ Crypto. Thanks for being here. We are on the literal launch of the PulseChain. I just want you to know what we're really here for, folks. What's up, Michael? Good to see you. How many live viewers are you currently showing? I see 5. You're probably on the other channel, which is Christians in Crypto. We got 110 people here. Charles Darwin was a bad one. Human zoos came from him. Okay. But almost. Well, here's the thing I would say. You're not an accident, right? You're not the descendant of a monkey. You have value, folks. We got to remind people of that. Stay united, fam. Matt time. He's got it registered trademark. It is Matt time. Hello, Matt. Hope you're well. Thank you so much. And Hex Force 1 to round it all up. Thanks for joining the Pulse today. My name is Matt. This is Crypto Heartbeat. And do not forget that what we are part of is so much bigger than just, oh, we got a new layer 1, right? And there's a lot of people out in the market that are like, I'm forking this and I'm doing this and I've got all these tokens. Ask the people that are launching things, why are they doing it? I think it's really, really important that we see this next phase of crypto actually accomplishing something more than just gaming. This is powerful, powerful stuff. But if we do not have a sovereign alternative to the CBDCs, if we don't have a place to transact that's private, right, that doesn't track you, doesn't censor you, all is lost. And not all is lost, but from a material perspective, all is lost. We are going to return this thing to popular control because decentralized is way better than centralized. Folks, thanks for joining the Pulse. And do not mess with Texas. Take care, folks. We'll catch you tomorrow from Consensus 2023. Take care.